To a lot of people, pulp fiction means fiction that is lurid, cheap, fast, over the top, slightly amoral. To an audience of 1937, which is when the Chinatown Death Cloud Peril is set, pulp fiction would have been the actual stories that they found in the magazines on the newsstand. There were over 200 magazines published each month. There were 30 million of these purchased each month. The cheap fiction inside was written by wonderful people like Walter Gibson and Kenneth Robeson, Lester Dent, L. Ron Hubbard. Pulp fiction at that time was superheroes, it was crime, it was romance, it was westerns, adventure, war, any kind of fiction that was escapist and took people to another place, another time, and let them experience something different. It was a cheap thrill, it was fun and exciting, and pretty much exactly what they weren't finding in bookstores at the time. The Chinatown Death Cloud Peril is about two pulp writers from the 1930s, Walter Gibson, who created The Shadow, and Lester Dent, who created Doc Savage. Now, these two men and their creations were the number one and two bestsellers on the newsstand month in and month out for a couple of years. They outsold John Steinbeck, they outsold Tolkien's The Hobbit, which was out that year. What I've done in this book is I've taken these wonderful characters, larger-than-life men, put them in a wonderful adventure that is inspired by the death of another pulp writer, H.P. Lovecraft. The two men challenge each other to kind of solve the couple of mysteries. One of them is the mystery of Lovecraft's murder, and the other is an old Chinatown mystery that happened when the death cloud rolled into Chinatown in 1906. That was a true story that kicks off the book. Through the course of their rivalry and their adventure, they actually uncover a plot not too dissimilar from one that they might have written about at the time, and a group of friends that they have put together race to stop this insidious plot against New York's Chinatown and New York in general. When I started out writing the book, I didn't think that it was going to be as big as it was, otherwise I probably wouldn't have attempted it. But as I said in the book, one character says the key to writing a book is to not try to write the whole thing at once, it's just try to write one page at a time. I was able to, just as long as I could stay one step ahead of myself and find out the next thing that I needed to know in advance of when I needed to know it, I was able to find out what I didn't know, and it turned out that I actually knew a lot about the era through movies and research and just liking the fiction at the time. I wrote the Chinatown Death Cloud Peril to reach a wider audience than the pulps normally do. I think it has something for everyone in it because it's based in styles of writing that everybody has liked at one time or another. For example, if you liked westerns or if you like romance novels, I have tributes and allusions to those in here as well. It very much is a genre buster as far as reaching across a bunch of genres to become something different. It's not meant to be a museum piece, and it's certainly not meant to be a piece of fan-only fiction. There are people who do that kind of writing and do it very well, but I wanted to give people who didn't know, for example, my wife, an idea of why I loved these things and why other people love them, and to try to capture in one book a whole style of writing and give a top-to-bottom overview of what the pulps are about, what the style was like at the time. Most importantly, it's just a really good story with really strong characters that you really care about, and anybody who's looking for those things will enjoy the book.